Okay, good evening, friends, and we might even call some of you family because we think that this is a network of family because we are a group of people that stand together and ultimately want to achieve the same goals and things like that, which is actually happening at the moment. There's many guys that listen and do what they need to do. How's it, Andrew? Like you, one of them. Clutch is also watching. And that is just the way it is. I think AD's going to be sharing tonight. I know much of his story, but I've also had the privilege. To watch him grow, and go through his trials and normal life's things that life throws at you. So he will be sharing tonight, and by the grace of God and the help of RAEL and Mr. Hall and the program that is run here, just about life and the way we should be living life, has brought AD to the point where he's at the moment, all the way from where he's been. That is purely just drugs down, lifestyle change, respect, discipline, and the like. So good evening. How's it? Oh, that name disappeared there. Hi, Auntie Michelle. Gladwin's also watching. How's it, Gladwin? Good evening, all from Gladwin. Those that know Gladwin, yeah, yes. We also got our own guy sitting here this evening, but we don't want to put them on camera yet. But we'll just wait for a couple of our members and followers to come on. But in the meantime, we all know that it's very cold. Mr. Hall went out to the snow today, and we all snow-capped around here. But it's a male-only facility where we're not allowed to keep each other warm. So we keep fires going and we dress warm and all of that. But the main thing is that whether it's hot or cold or whatever the weather is like, whether you're an addict or not, sometimes it's good to take introspection and look at what you need to change about yourself. Because if you hit me first and I hit you back, my wrong part in the situation is hitting you back. Or if I hold a resentment and I want to get you back, my wrong part in the situation is wanting to get you back. That is me going to bed with something in my mind that makes me spiritually sick. So, like we say, the drugs is the easy part to put down. But how do I deal with not holding resentments? How do I change my life so that I don't do things that create guilt? Because especially addicts, if you want to call us that, because most people do, or people that's been addicted to substance or whatever you want to call us. We've been called many names, but that's also fine. We sensitive to different emotions and things like that. So we need to live a lifestyle where we don't repeat things, which is obviously everybody knows the definition of insanity. It's repeating the same thing, expecting different results. But it's not repeating smoking the drug, expecting that you're not going to go to the street or that you're not going to steal or that you're not going to. It's repeating the same behavior, repeating the same way of doing things. Repeating not brushing your teeth, expecting not to get toothache. So it's all these little things, and that's why the lifestyle change and the program of recovery isn't only for recovering addicts. We've got a different angle on it this evening, and we've got a different angle on it this evening, which is called the 12 Steps of Insanity. And I think most of our members and people, or what we like to call normal people, users and non-users, When we're in recovery, what are we actually trying to recover from? Are we trying to recover from the physical damage that the drugs has done to us? Are we trying to recover our old lost lifestyles or jobs? What are we trying to recover? That's why it's a process, because the body recovers. We're trying to recover our ways into a way that we don't repeat the mistakes that we've made before. And all of that is worked on over here, where we do different life skills programs and things like that. We learn how to accept things when we want our way, and we learn to see through the program and the way things work, because the 12 steps is only a part of our program. It isn't our program. The 12 steps comes from Alcoholics Anonymous, where Mr. Hall got sober 15 years ago and now teaches us what he's learned about life and living sober in the last 15 years, about real life issues that he's been through that we can relate to, and all of that. Some listen, some need to learn more before they listen, but I can promise you, those that have listened are the ones that are sober today. And I see some of them are watching. Good to check you, Alex. Hi there, hi Diane, hi Mom. How's it, Clacker? How's it, Pine? Rock on, as long as you're not smoking. Clean. How's it, Barbie? Is that the Barbie that I lived by quite a couple of years ago when I was sort of at my worst? I think it could have been around 2009. Hi there, nice to see that you're watching. Okay, Garth is also watching. How's it, Avril? Hello there, doctor. I was addicted to pharmaceuticals as well at a stage. But so what AD is sharing tonight is everything we do here has got to do with recovery, because it's got to do with life, and we're trying to recover our lives. Recovery in the sense of we're trying to live better lives. So I'm going to give it over to AD. I'm just going to light my smoke. For those that don't have, I just keep them in mind. It's like, to those that don't drink, like I don't drink, then people that do drink say, I'm going to have a drink on you. And I say, go for it. So we'll give it over to AD now. And then remember to inbox and ask us questions. And you guys are always free to post on our wall and all of that. Thank you for joining this evening. I'm going to give it over to AD now. Don't be nervous, AD. You weren't nervous when you were robbing the people.
No, I wasn't, especially if they were in wheelchairs, Mr. Kurt. Good evening, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Adrian. I'm a recovering addict empowering lives. Hello to everybody that has joined us this evening. First of all, before I start to share or say anything, I just want to open up in the serenity prayer. And can we just have a moment of silence for the still suffering addict and the addict that is taking his first drug right now, using his last one, and the baby that's being born into active addiction as well. Followed by the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you. What an honor it is this evening to be sitting here, to be sharing live about my story, about my life, and about my test that I went through, and what a testimony it is this evening. First of all, it's nothing that what I've done, that I'm sitting here this evening, is all through the grace of God. It's all through the help of Mr. Hall, obviously, and through the help of Mr. Kurt Schuler, that I'm in the position that I'm in this evening. And it's not about any title that I have. One of the things that I'm very grateful for today, that I won the battle today, that I'm clean and sober, man. That I never picked up on any mood or mind-altering substance this evening. And I think that is a daily thing that we have to be grateful for. That we never picked up on any substance, that we are clean, that we are in recovery. And we ask God to guide us and to protect us, through this time. And through the meetings that's been happening through the week, thank you very much for everyone that's been supporting it and watching it as well. And Mr. Ho has been doing the 12 steps on the live share, but I wanted to share something a bit different this evening from my side of a program that we practice, while we were using drugs. And it's still a program that we can practice while we're in recovery, because we can become dry as well. And it's called the 12 steps of insanity. And the first one that I would open up to, as I share this, is that the first step of the 12 steps of insanity is that we admitted we were powerless over nothing, that we could manage our lives perfectly, and those of anyone who could let us. Now, for me, that stands out in a sense of a way that nobody could tell me that I was weak, man. I'd never ever wanted to hand over anything to show that I was losing control. Even when it came to using drugs, when it came to managing my finances, when it came to managing life things about myself, man. I never ever wanted to surrender that part over. I always thought I knew best. I always thought that I knew better. I always thought that I have everything under control. And I always thought that I was God, man. Nobody could tell me anything. I was always prepared to take care of someone else, man. And that someone else that I'm speaking of is someone very, very special to me this evening, and that's my son, man. But how could I have done that if I couldn't stay clean and sober for one day, man? How could I have done that if I couldn't even be able to look after myself, man? You see, when it gets to that point where it's not about materialistic things that my son wants from me this evening, man. He wants a relationship with his father, man. Something that I could never give him. Something that I thought he doesn't need, man. Something that I thought that you know what, my boy, as long as daddy buys you your nappies, your milk and everything, you find and you sorted and you have a roof over your head, man. But all that little boy wanted, man, was to have a bond with his father, man. Was to get to know his father a little bit better, man. Was to maybe just kick a ball with his father, man. Maybe just to push on a bike with his father, man. To fall with his father when he fall and he gets up and he knows his father is there to pick him up, man, when he's crying, man. But no, daddy was too important, busy doing other things first, man. Daddy was first important. Daddy's most important thing at the time was drugs, man. And how to get more, because I love to use and I used to love, man. Even when it came to my mother as well, man. I wasn't a good son towards my mother, man. I thought I was, but I wasn't, man. All my mother wanted from me or wanted from us was to be a good son, to be supporting, to be behaving, to be listening to her, man. And those are the things I couldn't do, man. Because like I said, I was powerless over nothing, man. Nothing could control Adrian, man. Nothing. I wasn't afraid of anything, nothing at all, man. I am the power, And especially when I'm intoxicated with the moon or mind-altering substance, man. That my mother had to look at me one evening and tell me, this is not my son standing here. That she has to stand with fear in her own eyes, in her own home, outside of her home, not wanting to come into her house, man. Because I was powerless over nothing, man. And I could control everything else around me. Then I move on to the second step of insanity, man. That's when I came to believe that there was no power greater than myself or than ourselves. And the rest of the world was insane, man. So, for example, man, when mommy, or whether it was a job I was working for, or whether my ex-girlfriend, the mother of my child, told me, Adrian, what you're doing is wrong, man. When are you going to stop what you're busy doing? Stop what, man? I'm fine. I'm doing my drugs for myself. I'm doing my thing for myself. Don't you see I pay rent? Don't you see I do this? Don't you see I do that? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with God evens, man? That I was challenging God evens in everything that he wanted, man. From my side as being a spiritual Christian towards him, man. That I play God in everything that I do, and I wanted to be control of the results also of what happened. And as soon as things didn't go my way, man, I threw my toys out of the cot. Because there was no power that was greater than me, man. The rest of the world is insane, man. You mad, man. I'm doing my drugs for myself, man. You crazy. What are you going on about? Hey? It's my drugs. I'm using it for myself, mom. Oh, no, mom. Can't you see I'm going to meetings? Can't you see I have a sponsor? Just for today, mom. Take it one day at a time. I'm just gonna meet up with my sponsor, mom. Using every excuse still to get out of the house, man. Using every excuse not to bond, not to socialize, not to be with my family. Using every excuse not to practice any spiritual principle unless it benefited me, man. That's why the program demands from ourselves that we have to practice these principles in all our affairs. But as soon as that affair doesn't benefit me on my next fix or something that I want on what my motive is, then that spiritual principle or whatever that principle is can hit the door, man. Because Adrian himself had his own spiritual principles, man, that he made up for himself and that he worked for himself. That led me further down the road of doom, man. But Adrian didn't want to see it. Everybody else could see it around me, but I didn't want to see it. They were insane, man. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what I'm doing and whatever the case may be, man. Then I move on to the third step, man. We make a decision to have our loved ones turn their wills and their lives over to the care, even though they could not understand us at all, man. Now that's when we have our family members. This is where the manipulation comes in on this step, man. Where we manipulate our mother, our family, our friends, our jobs, our sons, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, whatever the case may be, that they hand over their things over to us so we can take care of the finances, the home, the car, whatever the case may be in that situation. And then when it goes wrong and we throw it all away, because remember, we didn't lose anything, man. We chose to give up all the materialistic things, the hard effort that we worked for. We chose to give that all up, whether we were studying, whether we were working, or whatever the case may be that we were doing that was trying to build our life up. We chose to give that up, even to our own family members and loved ones, for the use of drugs and alcohol, man. We never lost anything, man. We gave it away just like that, man. It was as if, yeah, take that, I don't need it right now. This is more important, man. That instant gratification that we wanted, man. That demand of instant gratification while we're still in recovery, when we come to a treatment center. That mommy must still pay for me, man. That mommy must still buy me this, man. That manipulation on our family that we still use on them. Oh, they don't love me enough if they don't send me money. They don't love me enough if they don't do this for me, man. Where was your love, man? Where was your love towards your family? Hey? What was your actions towards them? What were you doing, man? When they are still trying to support you and love you at this time, even though they didn't understand their son or their loved one anymore, what they were going through, man. Because remember, they don't know the hell and the stuff that we went through, man. But still, they stood by our side till this day. My mother still stands by my side. But it doesn't mean she doesn't have that backbone to stand up when she closed the door in my face and tell me enough is enough, man. And for that, I'm grateful also, man. I'm grateful that my mother has that boundary till this day set, that if Mr. Hall says, Karen, don't do this for Adrian or don't do that, just because he's in recovery doesn't mean you must give him this and give him that, man. He's a grown man to take care of himself, man. He needs to take responsibility for himself once in his life, man. He's a 28-year-old man and he's a father. He needs to lead by example, man. But yet, at the age that I am, or maybe older that you can be, we still demand things from our family, man. In what position are you when you messed up everything for your life to still demand things from your family, man? How insane is that, man? How selfish is that for you, man? But still you want to go on and ram as if you're being owed something. Remember, we're living on borrowed time as we are sitting here, man. That's why I'm grateful to be sitting here, to be sharing this meeting events, man. Because this is for the newcomer this evening, man, as well. And as I move on to the fourth step, then it says we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of everyone else that we knew, man. Never I'm wrong, always you are wrong. It's because of you, mommy, you never did enough for me. That's why I turned to drugs. It's because of you, daddy. You know what? You were never there for me as a child. You never gave me this. You never gave me the best clothes. That is why I turned to drugs, man. It was because of you, Daniel. You know what, no? As an older sister, you should have done this for me and done that for me, man. It's because of you, Connor. You know, my boy, daddy had too much pressure. Daddy had too much of this. Daddy wasn't ready to be a father. It's because of you, Tony. You were the one that were calling the shots in the relationship. That is why I turned to drugs, man. But where am I going to take the responsibility? Hey? When is it my fault, man? Hey? When am I going to open up my eyes to see that it's because I chose to give that all away, man? Everything that I had, it was a good life that I had, man, for the use of drugs and alcohol, for the compulsive behavior that came with it, man. Because I took an inventory of everybody else, man. Look at what they doing, mommy. Look there, at least I don't rob or I don't steal like that, mommy. I said that at the time when I wasn't in that position, until I got kicked out and I was put in that position. When I looked at the guy sleeping on the side of the road thinking, Aish, at least I'm not like that. Maybe I'm a successful drug user. Because that was one of the reasons why I went to my first institution. Because I thought that they're going to teach me how to use drugs successfully, man. Until I had to come and find out over the years of my active addiction, 17 years, man. And still going into the recovering side as well. That there is no control. Your life goes downhill, man. Whether you lose everything in 3 weeks or whether it takes you 3 years to lose something or give something away, man. It goes downhill once you have that mood and mind altering substance in you and the compulsive behavior that comes with it as well. Because remember, you can still be dry, man. While you're in the recovery, you can always still sit in a treatment center and look, oh, mommy, you don't come and visit me too much. Oh, mommy, you don't phone me much. Oh, there's something wrong with the treatment center. The managers don't know what they are doing. They're running around like headless chickens. I know what is best for myself. Look at this one. Look at that one. That one has a big head. He has a small toe. I only got one potato, Mr. Hall. At least you got a potato, man. You came in here with no potatoes, man. But where is your faith to even plant that seed like a potato? Everything that you planted for your life, that I planted, that I did, was of dead works, man. Even the words that I spoke, it was all bluff stuff, man. Like empty cans. They call it leerblikke on the Cape Flats, man. Ek was 'n leerblik, man. Niks maakie, niks doen nie. Everything I thought I built up that was quiet, it all came crashing down, man. Just like that. And then when it went the wrong way, not my fault, your fault, man, mommy. Not my fault, your fault, Connor. Not my fault, your fault, Tony. Not my fault, your fault, Daniel. Look there, mommy. Daniel is using heroin. At least I'm only smoking weed. At least I'm only drinking a little bit of alcohol. So my life is not that bad, mommy, man. She's doing heroin. There's something wrong with her. Focus more on her. Until I started threatening my own mother's life, man. Until I started holding my own mother hostage. And it doesn't mean I had held her hostage physically also, because I have done that before. But also the way I manipulated my parents for things to go my way, man. And even while you're in recovery, if you don't take your daily inventory every day properly, you can still use that form of manipulation. Now, what the addicts forget, man, when they come into a treatment center like RAEL, and what I love about this place is that once an addict, always an addict, will not be tolerated here, man. Your disease can be arrested if you work a solid program, man. But if you come here scheming that you're gonna try and put people a kop on, then you came to the wrong address, man. Not only are you wasting your own time, but your loved ones, and you're giving them false hope at the end of the day, man. So that's how self-centered we can still become when we step into a treatment center. Because remember, when we step through those gates, we are willing to do anything to get the help, eh? I'm willing to do anything, Mr. Hall, Mr. Kurt. You can do this and do that to me, man. Then after 3 weeks, we want to tell the people that have been in the game for so long, because I don't see anybody with 15 years of sobriety around me this evening, besides Mr. Hall, telling me or telling the people with that long of sobriety how they want to be helped, man. And it's not supposed to be this way, man. This program has worked, the RAEL program has worked and saved lives for many other people before they came here, man. Nothing will be changed, nothing will be tweaked, nothing will be watered down for the next person to get comfortable, man. The moment I get comfortable in a treatment center, whether I'm in recovery or whether I'm in whatever place it may be trying to better my life, then I know I'm stepping on dangerous grounds, man. Because I always have to be on my toes, man. The moment I get comfortable, because that's when apathy, procrastination, and ultimately complacency kicks in again, man. And complacency is one of the things why I relapsed, because I stopped working my program after 17 months, man. And it took me 3 weeks to give up everything that I'd worked very hard for, to throw it just like that and give it away. Then I'll move on to the 5th step, man. Then I admitted to the world the exact nature of everyone else's wrongs, man, but my own. Everybody else was wrong but Adrian, man. No, you are wrong. You didn't pay me a proper salary, Mr. Boss Man. No, you are wrong. You racist, Mr. Boss Man. No, you are wrong, mommy. Why are you always giving Daniel always the upper hand? Why must she get special treatment, mother? When my mother was a single parent trying to provide for both me and my sister at the same time. That's how selfish I became, man. No, you are wrong, Tony. You never loved me enough. You don't support me in my meetings enough. You don't go with me to meetings. Is Tony the one with the drug problem this evening? No, I am, man. So I need to get myself to meetings. I need to get myself a sponsor. Ultimately, I need God in my life, man. I've never ever seen a recovering addict recover without God, man. I've never ever seen that, man. And you can find God in meetings in some different form of way. It's your own journey, but find Him you will when you work this program of this 12 steps of sanity, man. But if you're not finding God after a certain amount of time, while going to meetings, while having a sponsor, while trying to be of service to the next person, then there's something in your program that you're not working solidly, because these are the signs that are holding you back and blocking you from growing the person that you are supposed to be in life, to become that responsible, productive member of society ultimately, man. Then step 6 comes in. We were entirely ready to make others give us the respect that we deserve, man. You can't recover without respect and discipline, man. So people needed to respect me when I glamorize, nah, hoes, ek is die manskap, man. Ek is die capital, man. Nah, hoes, ek het die ene geskiet. Nah, look at this, I stabbed, I hit that one, man. I did this, man. I sold so many drugs, man. Hey? I made music, man. What it took you 10 years to make, it took me one night to get on stage. So I'm the best. Respect me for that I deserve, man. All things that are stupid, that means nothing in life, man. I smoke more tick than you. And I hear that many times when in a treatment center. Now I use more than you. Now I did this, man. I rolled 7 cars and you only rolled 1, so that makes me a better person. How can you glamorize about something that has been killing you slowly and your family? Hey? Then when you come into the cells for the first time, and the first number comes to you and soek and fry you and ask you, what are you doing here? And you can't have anything to say. But outside, you are glamorizing so big about who you are. Don't pretend to be someone that you're not, man. Don't pretend to be someone that you're not. Because you might find yourself in a situation that you cannot get yourself out of, because this disease is so cunning, baffling, and powerful that it makes you defenseless to defend yourself in situations like that, man. And I had to learn that the hard way, man, when it comes to the survival of the streets as well, man. I had to find out that the hard way as well. And I'm grateful that I went down that road, man. So that everything that I get today, I appreciate, man. Whether it be some small piece of something, sharing something positive in my life. It doesn't have to be a materialistic things. Or whether it's just the presence of someone that is positive around me. Or ultimately, when I wake up in the morning and I have that peace and serenity in my heart. It didn't take me one day to get to that point, because I remember I told Mr. Kurt when I came back the second time, he played spiritual music while I was laying in the couch here, man. And something in my spirit was it was disturbing for me. I couldn't be in it. I thought to myself, I lost that peace and serenity, because praise and worship, when it comes to singing, I was always the one that was live, and I always love it, and I still do. I'm glad I got that back, man. I'm glad that light again is back, man. But I had to work my program 10 times harder than what I did the first time when I came here, for to have that peace and that serenity again, man. Because everyone else was wrong but Adrian, man. No, mommy, I can't go back after what I did. Mr. Hall doesn't want me back. Mr. Kurt doesn't want to see me anymore. The sober livings threw me away, mommy. I don't think I can fit in the program. My time is done. I've done 17 months. I think I deserve something. You only went to go reward yourself with something that was killing your life, man. And it can be without the use of drugs and alcohol still, man. That compulsive obsession behavior when it comes to self-centeredness, that self-will run riot still allows us to make decisions based on ego, false pride, and lust, man. Stuff that you chase, money even also, man. Then moving on further, sorry guys, when it comes to the 6th step, man, we were entirely ready to make others give us the respect. I said that the 7th step, man, we demanded that others do our will because we were always right, man. And that ties in with the 6th and the 7th step there, man. So I demanded you to give me everything that you have because I was always right, man. I was never wrong. And even when I was wrong, and I knew deep down I was wrong, I had a con that works in me that I can manipulate you to convince you that maybe you telling me this color is black. I will convince you why it is white, man. Maybe you convincing me, maybe you telling me, hey, Adrian, what you're busy doing is wrong. You're gonna end up in the wrong place. Hey, who are you to tell me, man? What do you know about this, man? What do you know about that? Just keep your mouth, man. You don't know any better. When all that person, whoever it was, whether it was my mother, Tony, my ex-girlfriend, whether it was even my son, man. My son, you know what my son used to do to me when he knew I was wrong and I had an argument with the mother. He used to come to me when I used to be in the other room, and he just used to stand there and hold me. That's all he wanted. And I used to think to myself, what's wrong with this boy? But there was something wrong with his father, and this young child could feel it, man. He was trying to tell me, Daddy, what you're busy doing is wrong. But no, Daddy had more important things to do, man. More important things than to take care of you. Hey? Then we come to step 8, man. And I love this step. We make a list of all persons who had harmed us and became willing to go any lengths to get even with him. And we walk and we step into recovery still with that resentment. So remember, if we do not do our step 4 properly while we're in recovery, we will hold on to that resentment. And then we start making that list again, because remember, it doesn't go away. We will always remember what people done to us. We never ever wanted people to hold grudges against us because we were never wrong, like the 6th and the 7th step of insanity is. But the 8th step, that list, one of that list, any lengths, man. So that lengths meant, man, that if I have to be prepared to kill my own mother to get that back, then I will do it, man. And it wasn't, even though it was ultimately for my next fix, that compulsive behavior, that obsession, that insanity, man, that's how far I was prepared to go. Now you might be sitting here and thinking, hey, I never did that, so I must not be as bad as that person, man. I can tell you something this evening, man. Whether you had a good job to buy your drugs, maybe you worked for your drugs, and I rob people in wheelchairs to get my drugs. Ultimately, me and you, we pay the ultimate price, and that is death, man. You throw that away for death. Insanity, man. Then we go to the 9th step, man. We got direct revenge on such people wherever possible, except when to do so would cost our lives, or at very least a jail sentence, man. Now that part of a jail sentence can step out, man. Because for me, I wasn't even afraid to go to the cells or prepared to go to prison. Because remember, like I said, I was prepared to kill my own mother in her own home, man. That would have gotten me into Paulsmore with whatever the place would have been. But that's the lengths I was prepared to go, man. Hey? Even when it comes to now, you might not have done those type of hard crimes or anything, man. But you bought drugs and alcohol, which is something illegal, man. And whether you ended up in the cells for the first time, remember how scared you were, man. You couldn't even defend yourself because your disease got the best of you. That made you so cunning, baffling, and powerful that it had you so under control that you couldn't defend yourself. Now you come into a treatment center and you still think to yourself, nah, I still know what to do. At this moment, even with me in my position that I'm in, it's rather best for people that has been long in sobriety, like my sponsor, Mr. Kurt and Mr. Hall, to rather manage my life for me, and I'm okay with that, to hand that will over to them, because I know that my life is ultimately being handed over to God. And that's why I'm the best Adrian I can be today, because it came with this listening, using this ornaments that was given to me because I had a listening problem. I always wanted to get people back. I always wanted to get revenge. Even now when I relapse, man, I had a resentment towards Tony for me relapsing, man. But it was not her fault, man. I have to take responsibility for that, man. I was holding on to a reservation in my program that I was working, that ultimately led me to go and use drugs and alcohol. Nobody forced the lolly or the pipe or whatever the booze may be, doesn't fall in your laps just so, man. That's something you planned long time before you picked up, man. And that's how cunning, baffling, and powerful this disease is, man. That I thought that if I pick up, this is my way of getting revenge back towards other people. Can you see? You must think this bad of me. Now I'm going to show you how bad I am, man. You must want to say this about me and think this about me. I've been clean for 17 months. Can't you see I'm doing the right thing? Now I'm going to show you how it's done, man. Now I'm going to give you a reason to be angry and upset towards me, man. That you break into your own mother's home just to make a peanut butter sandwich, man. Then you find on the TV of the screen, of the big screen, there's a case that's been made against you, that if you take this TV, you will be put into prison. The cops are looking for you, man. That's the lengths I went to, man. To get revenge, to get people back, man. And then I move on to the 10th step, man. We continue to take inventory of others And when they were wrong, promptly and repeatedly told them about it, man. Now that's what I find here in the treatment center where I'm at here with RAEL, and why I did it also the first time when I came in, man. I always looked at someone else's wrongs. I always corrected other people first, man, not myself first. And if someone corrected me, no, I'm never wrong. Remember that 6 and 7 I spoke about in insanity. No, why are you correcting me? Look at what he does. Look at what he does, man. Always looking at the other people. When am I gonna get to from the side bench and start being part of this game, man? Part of this recovery, man. Hey? Instead of sitting there looking at other people going forward with their life, man. Hey? Because there is hope for you to get out of it. But once you're in that mindset and you continue to take that inventory of other people and what's their faults and their wrongs, then where are you doing your recovery to focus your wrongs? Hey? Then where are you doing your recovery to see where you're going wrong and how to correct that and fix that? Then you want to sit in a meeting and maybe tell everybody, no, I'm fine, I'm alright. But your actions and your behaviors is totally opposite of that, man. At the end of the day, you're ultimately tiring yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally because you're conning yourself, man. And that makes you physically defenseless towards the drug. Completely. Because you don't know how to defend yourself in that moment once that stuff come down your way, man. Now move on to the 11th step, man. We saw through complaining and medication to improve our relations with others, as we would not understand at all, asking only that they do the things our way. No, mom, it's my way, and if it's not my way, I throw my toys out of the cot. No, Mr. Kurt, sorry. It's my way, Mr. Kurt. This is how it must be done. And if it's not done that way, Mr. Kurt, then I'm going to hit the road, or this is what I'm going to rather do, Mr. Kurt. But what I love about this place is there's no big gates, no high walls, nobody forcing you to be here, man. The gate is open for you to take the walk if you want to go, man. Go. Go if you want to go and go try your way again and see that you are better of it, man. Go try your way, because if you haven't reached that point where you surrender completely, and surrender doesn't mean resigning, man. It doesn't mean, okay, I'm just going to put the drugs down for now, and then I'm going to stop, and then maybe some point of my life I'm going to have to pick up on alcohol again, because I know what happens to me when I drink alcohol, man. I'm a chronic, man. Any mood or mind-altering substance, even when it comes to anything that I obsess about, can make my life unmanageable, man. I just have that addictive gene in me, man. And I get a kick out of it. And I found myself, as I work the program, that in my recovery now, there are still things I get a kick out of that can still bring out that defects about me, and I know I need to stay away from those type of things, man. That's how deep your recovery goes, man. Because the first steps when it comes to the sanity is the only step that speak of drugs and alcohol if you go through the rest of the steps. But this 12 steps of insanity is the program that we have been working. We can practice it while we were using and while we still step into recovery. And if these are the signs that you are struggling with now in your program, then I would advise you to go back to your sponsor and back to step 1 and start from over again, man. Because recovery can start for anyone right now, this moment, even, man, as I'm talking to you. Recovery can start for you, man. But you must be willing to surrender, where you have accepted that the only solution to your problem is recovery. Ultimately, God. Straight, man. Then I move on to the 12th step. Having had a complete physical, emotional, and spiritual breakdown as a result of these 12 steps, we blamed it on others and tried to get sympathy and pity in all our fears. Self-pity. Feeling sorry for ourselves. Oh no, why does he get everything? Oh no, Mr. Hall. Oh no, Mr. Kurt. Oh no, Mom. You've never done so much for me. Hey? Progressing one day and the next day you're somehow being put down again. One day you find, the next day you're not fine. One day you're missing your family, the next day you're not. What happened to you when you were using drugs, when your family wanted to spend time with you, man? What happened to you when you chose stupid friends, man? Stupid friends that doesn't even care about you, because still till today, Mr. Kurt, I don't see any sending me anything. It was monkeys, eh? That's correct, yes, sir. Monkeys. I don't see anybody coming to the gate sending me something, man. This evening I sit grateful to know that I have the proper support around me. The love that is shown on the RAEL farm from Mr. Hall, from Mr. Kurt, that filters through down to the sober living. That even when I turn my back, they still supported me, man. Now you tell me there's not a God working, man. You tell me that there's no God in that type of situation. Do you remember the day when you were down and out, my boy, man? Do you remember the day when nobody wanted you? Do you remember the day, when you were so desperate to do anything, that a man came along and sat down with you and got into that pit with you, and you asked him, yeah, what you doing here, man? And that man told you, yeah, I know the way out, man. But you must be willing to take certain steps, man. Are you willing to do so? Because without honesty, open-minded and willingness, how can you recover, man? If you were honest enough for yourself, this is the insanity part about it, that I smaak to use drugs now. Yes, I'm craving, I'm going to use now. That's how honest you are with yourself. And get more honest with yourself. I stole my mother's money, or I'm still riding on mommy and daddy's gravy train, or I'm going to go rob someone, or in a sense of a way that, nah, the hard-earned salary that I worked for the overtime, I think I deserve a reward to buy myself something. Alright, that's how honest you are with yourself. Open-minded enough, when someone comes along, like, let me say, for example, a parapa from the Cape Flats comes and tells me, hey, AD, if you don't go to that tavern or to that merchant, they don't have the right stuff over there, man. Rather go somewhere further down, that's in a further place. Now you're open-minded and listen to that type of information. You take it in, you think to yourself, you're going to go far. No matter what the time is of the day, it can be 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, still the same thing. I still want my fix, man. Then you become willing to go that extra length to get it. Why don't you apply that honesty, open-minded and willingness to your program of sanity that you need to work, man? Because without the 5 pillars in your recovery, you can't recover, man. And that comes with God, that comes with meetings, that comes with step work, that comes with sponsor, and ultimately where I lay my foundation solid is to be of service. I could never, ever, ever do something for someone without expecting anything back in return. But I found my spiritual awakening the moment it started with something so small, when I gave someone something and I never wanted anything back in return, man. That's where that awakening happened for me. Where that morals came back again when I started in my treatment center by saying the words please and thank you. When last did my mother hear that? When I tell my mother please, then she will ask me the first thing, what do you want? Oh, thank you, mommy. Why are you being so nice, my boy? Why is the house so clean, eh? What do you want now? Because there's always a motive to something, man. Today I can say now, when I do something, I don't want anything back in return because I already got it, man. And that's my sobriety first. I got it first and foremost now, man. That nothing is going to stand in the way of it, man, as I work my program of sanity. Nothing is going to stand in my way anymore, man. Hey? That even if that means for the 7 months, I never seen my family once, despite it being whether it was lockdown or not. That's a boundary that I've set up for myself, that I can appreciate it because I know the day is going to come. The day is definitely going to come because I serve a powerful God this evening. A God that happened to have chosen me by name this evening to say a message to you. Because like I said in the beginning of my meeting, this is for the newcomer that is sitting in this meeting this evening, man. Because I was also a newcomer, man. That the doors were open for him when he came down the road when it was raining so hard, man. Desperate, didn't know which way to go, man. Didn't know if they're going to accept him here at this place, man. Didn't have any money or anything like that the door is open, man. Hey? Who does that today, man? Who opens up that door to the stranger, man? Hey? Not someone that doesn't know what the road is like, man. Someone that cares, someone that has the spiritual awakening to do the 12 steps still till today, to carry the message of hope, man. To remind yourself to never forget where you come from, man. Hey? Those are one of the things that you never forget where you come from. The moment you do, you're getting bigger than the game, man. That's what Mr. Hall always says. You're getting bigger than the game, AD. You're getting bigger than the game. Don't think you know everything, man. This evening I sit here with humility that I'm okay that I don't know everything, man. Because I'm willing to learn this evening. I'm willing to learn how to apply my program properly so I can get more sobriety, that I can get more life ultimately out of it, man. And that I can share this life abundantly with the still suffering addict and with my family. That I can share it with each and every person. That I'm fine and that I'm okay and I'm at peace, man. I'm no longer fighting with myself anymore. That I can share something good back with someone, man. That I can carry the message of hope, man. Hey? And I just want to share that just for today, man. With you guys. It comes out of June 12th. And it says a vision of hope, man. It says here, yes, we are a vision of hope. By the time we reach the end of our road, many of us had lost hope for a life without the use of drugs. We believe that we were destined to die from our disease, man. I was at that point. I'm not worthy. I'm gonna die, addict. I just might as well give up. No hope. I never even knew of recovery, man. Even when I went to my first institution, I just gave up completely, just like that. But the recovering addict never gave up, man. Like Mr. Kurt said in that meeting the other evening. The powerful weapon is the recovering addict. Thank you for the recovering addict that is still working this program, because he carries the message and he came to take me out of that pit, man. What an inspiration it was then coming to our first meeting and seeing a room full of addicts who were staying clean, man. A clean addict is indeed a vision of hope. Today we give that same hope to others. The newcomers see the joyful in our eyes. Notice how we carry ourselves. Listen to us speak in meetings. And often what we have found. They believe in us until they learn to believe in themselves. And I saw that around the people, even when I came back to RAEL the second time. I was broken. I might have had, like Angus always tells me, ja, I did het 'n volle nightgap aangehad, jong. But that was nothing. I was empty inside, yo. I was spiritually, emotionally broken inside, jong. The materialistic things couldn't fill up that void that was empty. Only God could do that, man. Today we give the same hope to others. The newcomers see the joyful light in our eyes as we carry ourselves. Listen to us speak in meetings, and often what we have found. They believe in us until they learn to believe in themselves. Newcomers hear us carry the message of hope to them. They tend to see us through the rose-colored glasses. They don't always recognize our struggle with a particular character defect or our difficulties with improving our conscious contact with God. It takes time to realize that we, the old-timers, with 3 to 6 or 10 years clean, often place personalities before principles or suffer from some other unsightly character defects, man. Spare my feelings and save my life. Thank you, Mr. Hall and Mr. Kurt, man, for telling me straight where I went wrong, for telling me straight what I did, man. That not tolerating my nonsense anymore. Thank you, Mom, also, for going that length to being prepared to put me in prison, man. That I had to save my life, that I had to get out of that, man. Yes, the newcomer sometimes places us on a pedestal. It is good, though, to openly admit the nature of our struggles in the recovery, for in time the newcomer will be walking through those same trials. And that newcomer will remember that others walked through that difficulty and stayed clean. This message is carried to the newcomer, man. And for the recovering addict that is still in recovery out there, continue to carry the message of hope, man. Never forget how desperate you are, man. Never forget, because the newcomers remind us where we come from. And also remind us how quickly we can fall. That we shouldn't allow apathy and procrastination to creep into our program. Because once we procrastinate, that is a saying that goes that says, van uitstel kom afstel. The moment you put down and stop doing what you need to do to stay clean, that's the moment you're going to work on your relapse. So just for today, I will remember that I am a beacon to all, to follow in my path, and a vision of hope. This evening for me, guys, it's grateful to be a vision of hope, to see this message live, man. That no lockdown is going to keep me back to carry the message, man. This evening I serve a mighty God to be able to share this message, man. Because it is a message of hope, man. That you can recover, man. That you will find God, man. You gotta just earnestly seek Him, like you were seeking and looking for drugs out there. Like you were willing to be patient when your dealer tell you, 5 minutes, my brother, I'll be there. You see me, I don't see you. You see me, I'm now there. I'm driving the red Polo, man. God was always there by your side, man. You always saw Him, man. You just gotta open up your eyes and see it in the people that are recovering around you, man. For you, the newcomer, there is hope for you, man. You do recover, man, as you work this program. And more will be revealed the more you continue to work this program. So from my side, thank you to everybody. Thank you to the parents that have shared also their part of the story, man. Because sometimes the parents need to remind the recovering addict what we did to them from their version. Because there's a couple of things that we might have not have forgotten, but maybe forgot because we're all fried of drugs. But once we get reminded from the parents' perspective and from the loved one's perspective of what the addict put them through, that allows the addict to take much more deeper inventory and get that step 4 out, so that we are entirely ready when God fixes it because he's busy fixing it. He's busy reuniting us with our family this evening. And we are reunited with him, man, because this evening we're sitting here and we're doing the next right thing by carrying this message. It's only an honor, man. But it's not by what I've done and everything that I've did, man. I hand this over ultimately to the grace of God, man. And God working through Mr. Hall's life and through Mr. Kurt's life. And I'm capable to work this evening on the farm, man. I never thought that I would. Who gets a job in the lockdown? Eh? I'm grateful for that, man. Sometimes it still has to melt into me, man. That I have to carry the message now to the people coming in, man. That I have to lead by example. And the moment I don't lead by example, that's the moment that I'm working on my relapse again, man. That I have to always check myself in each and everything that I do this evening, man. To everybody, I want to say thank you. To everybody watching, I also want to say thank you. And may God be with you and may peace be with you this evening, man. And I'm going to hand over again to Mr. Kurt Schuler for him to close the meeting of this evening. But I hope that you got a message out of this evening. Thank you for all your support and for all your love. And we keep it RAEL Orange Friday. Love to everyone. Thank you.
Cheers. Wow, geez. Thanks for that share, AD. I'm sure that it's reached many people that are feeling hopeless. Parents that are feeling hopeless about their situation. I'm so happy to see a lot of the guys that have been through the program that are watching this evening as well. They are also a beacon of hope and inspiration. But the biggest thing that I want to point out is that maybe AD called me Mr. Kurt Schuler. Some know me as Kurt the Addict, Kurt the Scullum, Kurt. They know me as whatever. What happens with every human being, the things that we carry with us into the next day and into the next day and the next week and so on, that is, it's us that lives with that weight and that burden. So what we're doing is obviously trying for inner peace. Everybody wants to go to bed peaceful and in a calm space, and there's many a parent tonight because of their kids who are being here, whether their kids are 45, 25 or 65. And even some people's dads that are here, whose kids can go to bed and have rest tonight, knowing that their loved ones aren't putting a needle in their arm or robbing somebody. But the best part of it is me seeing AD after having a fall. They say that sometimes, I know there's a cliche that goes recovery or relapse is part of recovery. I don't know, the person that wrote that was on drugs, but we say that relapse is a lack of recovery. So you're either working on your recovery or you're working on your relapse. So to see a man come in after a fall, they say that sometimes a relapse starts the demolition process to take the recovery more seriously. I believe he has. He's put everything into it. And those 12 steps of insanity is for each and every human being. That's how we go around judging people. That's how we go around looking down on people. That's how I sit here today, being looked down upon previously, and now the same people that were looking down on me is asking me for help. But hey, I can't hold resentments, because that's like me drinking the poison expecting the other person to get sick. So all I can do is be of best service as I can. And to see AD come back after his relapse 8 months ago, due to a lack of him working the program, not a program that doesn't work. I said the same thing when I came back, that it was my responsibility that I didn't work the program. And to see him in a state of barely being able to talk, not being able to look a person in the eye, walking with his shoulders and his head up high, with humility nowadays. So I just want to close off with a the 12 steps of recovery, because ultimately we're recovering from our lifestyle. We automatically recover from the drugs. And what I've learned in this program, and a part of what this program means and comes from, is the page 58 in the AA book. So I'm just going to close off with that, and thank you all for watching. We please ask you to share the videos, that it could help somebody in need, and also remove the stigma. We ask you to join our Orange Friday journal pages, our Orange Friday pages, and obviously our Facebook pages. You'll even see on my page, I do recovery now the way I used to do drugs. The only thing and the way that I used to live and associate myself with was getting, using, and finding ways and means of getting more. So today I live the opposite, and each day, everything that I do, every time I'm of service, every time I read another step, every time I speak to another addict, every time I carry the message, every time I do the meeting, every time I'm in a meeting, every time I try and do the next right thing, I'm putting another brick of insurance down against building the wall up against addiction beating me, because we have to be one step ahead all the time. So this is sort of how our program goes, and these are the 12 steps of sanity. It says how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. And meaning that it's a simple program because we all know what to do. We all know how to do it, but sometimes it's very difficult. We all know that we must forgive and forget. But isn't it difficult to forgive and forget sometimes? Doesn't our pride stand in the way sometimes? Normal people, or what we call normal people, or non-addicts, or whatever you want to call them, and that is usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. So we lie to ourselves about our situation. We're standing on the streets, or we're stealing, or we're living off our mothers while we're 30, 35, 40, and fritting their pension out and so on, and they must make a way and sell their properties, and they're spending their life savings on rehabs that rob people, the 28-day ones. Most of us know about them. Can rather book yourself into the Holiday Inn and then just go buy drugs afterwards, in my opinion. Or you can buy your children the drugs with that money, rather, if you want to send them to a 28-day program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Like I said to you guys the other evening, I take my recovery so seriously that I couldn't even cheat in a game of Monopoly at home the other night. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like. AD was saying what he used to be like. What happened? RAEL happened. And what we are like now. You've seen what he's like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any lengths, he spoke about any lengths, walking in the rain to the dealer, waiting that extra 5 minutes, staying awake the whole night, manipulating, stealing from yourself, from your parents, hurting yourself, all the acts of insanity that we do. If you're willing to put 10% of that into recovery, you too can recover. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way. There's no glitch in the recovery system. That I can tell you. I'll give you guys a meeting one day of all the glitches I found in all the other life situations that I got the same result as other people. A lot of it was short-lived because of the drugs. But I still got the same result. But recovery, there's no shortcuts. There's no 2-minute recovery. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Because we got all these plans and clever thinking and whatnot, but we must never forget that those plans and that thinking is what got us onto our knees before we got to rehab. What got our backs against the wall. What got us our cases of some of the people that are sectioned to rehabs and recovery and sectioned to going to meetings and sentenced and all of that. Never forget your best thinking got you there. Your insane thinking. Those 12 steps of insanity got you there. Remember that we deal with alcohol and addiction, cunning, baffling, and powerful, and that we deal with life. People make mistakes. There's I'm sure non-addicts can relate to the 12 steps of insanity. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. And we've read in the beginning, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. So these are the 12 steps of sanity or recovery. We admitted that we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. That's 1. Step 2 is came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. That is where the honesty comes in. Be honest about your situation. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. So that I can walk with my head up high, so that I can look people in the eye. So that I don't have to look back over my shoulder thinking if the person I raped, robbed or stole from is going to see me. Or the person I lied to and said I needed petrol money. Or that I needed money for food that I dragged out. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. That's 9. 10 is continued to take personal inventory, not insanity, taking everybody else's inventory, looking what they're doing and how they're living and what they're doing wrong. Because remember, it's easier to say to your kids, don't do as I do, do as I say. It's easy to tell another man to do something when you're not doing it yourself. Preach what you practice, man. Don't practice what you preach. Continue to take personal inventory. I take my inventory so that nobody else can take it. You can judge me all you want, man. What you think of me is none of my business. Because I'm the most important person to me. Nobody else. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God. Praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Now, it's not God's will for you to hold a resentment and to go get the oak back. It's God's will for you to forgive him.